Welcome to another presentation of Mosque Sports presented by Campus Sports Media. I'm Frankie Rios, and that is Jonah Gallegos at NM Prep Co Sports. What's going on, guys? Excited for a new episode. A little bit different this time. Jonah, this is the first time that you join us on the Mosque episode. Is that right? Right?
Yeah, I'm happy to be a guest on here, Frankie. Thanks for having me.
He's all things NM Prep Co. and college sports. He's our main source for all of that. But today we have a guest that still is close to Jonah and was his former boss. Is a native from the Las Cruces area, graduating from Oñate High School. He graduated from NMSU. He's been to a couple colleges and is currently at a big SEC school and contributing in sports in a different way. And it's perfect to what we do here at Mosque Sports, which is looking deeper and past just the athletics and just what's going on the court, on the field, wherever you play. So it's an honor and a pleasure. Thank you, Jonah, for setting this up and getting us connected here with our guest today. So without any further ado, today, our guest, Derek Gonzales. What's up, man?
How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing good. Good to see you, man.
Frankie, I
The
love the
boss
hat.
man.
You're in the spirit. Hopefully, we've lost two in a row to those guys down in Austin, but we'll see them the second Saturday in October, and hopefully we can get back on the right track against Texas.
You've been struggling once you guys moved into SEC. It kind of changed a little bit on who was dominating because for a while OU was the dominant team against Texas, but you got to keep building. That's kind of your job right now, right? Just keep building and
Yeah,
keeping. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
yeah, no, that's a great segue and into things, and appreciate you all having me on the podcast today. But yeah, I'm over here at the University of Oklahoma in the Sooner Club office. I'm a part of a frontline fundraising team that's tasked with going out and attaining resources to continue to allow OU to perform at a championship level while also providing a first class fan experience for our stakeholders. And the name of the game has changed. I got into this, I graduated in 2019, started my career at New Mexico State, and that was pre NIL. And then on July 1st of 2021, a federal law enacted NIL to be legal, and the whole ball game changed in the blink of an eye. When you couple name, image, and likeness with the transfer portal and the fluidity that the lack of guidelines can provide, it's been a really interesting time. But here at OU, we have had great leadership, starting with our athletic director emeritus now, Joe Castiglione. He was at the helm for almost 30 years. And now we just welcomed Roger Denny from the University of Illinois, who's been with us on campus for, I believe, about a month or so. He's very forward thinking, and with their leadership and their ability to not really focus so much on the present, but kind of be visionaries and pioneers into predicting and positioning ourselves for the future. There's really been no better time to be an Oklahoma Sooner. And we're building towards a 2026 football season that we think can be one for the books.
No, I just wanted to know. You mentioned football and some other sports. Two questions. Who do you directly report to? Director of development for athletics, right? Um, who is it that you're kind of working under directly? And then is it all sports or is it you're focusing more? I know football is always the big program in any school, but how much of that is separated between the sports?
Yeah, great question. I report directly to two gentlemen. The gentleman that runs our office, his name is Matt Shaper Cutter. He's been at OU since, I believe, 2007. He's one of the most prolific fundraisers in the country. He actually just won the award for National Fundraiser of the Year nationwide. A lot of his conversations and the folks that he worked with, they are bringing this West Side Project to fruition. And he is a remarkable leader. He's a great person, great dad, great husband, and OU's all he knows. So he knows how people want to do things, and he knows how to tell a message that resonates with our stakeholders. My direct supervisor is John Burkett. He's been here at OU for 2.5 years. The funny part with John is he's actually spent time at the University of New Mexico, And so anytime I start having a conversation about green chili, he'll interject himself into the equation, and he loves talking about Dion's pizza. So I
Does
have
he know
someone
which one
to
has the
fight that
better
battle with
green
me.
chili? Do you
So
guys argue about that?
he'll admit, yeah, so he's a big Dion's guy. And I ask him, like, are you a green or red guy? And he's like, green all the way. And I'm like, thank you. I don't understand how people can prefer red chili outside of like cheese fries or something. Green chili's vastly superior. But those are the two gentlemen I report directly to. And the way it kind of works is we're tasked right now. The big conversation piece is this $450 million Palace project that we anticipate being completed by the start of the 2029 season. Amongst that, we just got approval for a new basketball arena on the north side of Norman. And the Sooner Club and OU Athletics will have a fundraising responsibility for that arena. We don't know the specifics quite yet, but we're really excited about that for men's basketball, women's basketball, and the defending national champion women's gymnastics program. Over at baseball, we just got a $45 million project approved to enhance Aldale Mitchell Park and Cameron Family Stadium. We're really excited about that. And then our softball team, which has won 4 of the last 5 national championships, we're now in our 3rd season over at Love's Field, which is the largest 100% privately funded female-specific facility in the history of college athletics. So we're busy. There's no shortage of initiatives to work on and have conversations about, but everything that we do, it's possible because Sooner fans are the best fans in the country, and they believe in what we're trying to do. They understand the importance of investing in the facilities, in the student athlete experience, and how important the visibility is nationwide. When people see our logo, when people hear the name Oklahoma or Sooners,
Boomer
they
Sooner.
think about all the legends on the football
Yeah.
field. They think about how awesome our softball team is and women's gymnastics, and women's basketball got the number 1 recruit in the country this past offseason. I mean, this brand resonates nationwide, worldwide. And all we do here in this office is we steward our stakeholders, storytell the importance of philanthropic giving, and try to be guides to tie them all together so where our stakeholders are having the biggest impact they can on our institution and our student athletes.
I'm sold. Where do I put my money? No.
I'll send you the
Yeah,
link right now,
Derek.
man. We'll get you going.
I apologize if you guys hear my son in the background. He's going crazy right now. But um, Derek is a very humble man, and he's my first real boss at the roundup. And so before I get started with my question, I want people to know Derek is a bigger Aggie fan than anyone I know, NM State. So when he left, I was like, I know he's bound to do greater things than stay in Las Cruces. But I just want people to know that he's a great Aggie fan. He loves his team. He has a tattoo of the Aggies. I don't know if you still got that or you got that removed, Derek.
The way
I
you're
don't I
talking, it
don't
sounds like
I
you got
don't
it
wear
removed.
tank tops. I don't wear tank tops. If I wear a white polo, I wear an undershirt with it. And you're right. I'm incredibly passionate about New Mexico State. That will never change. And it's funny, Jonah, that you bring that up because this upcoming football season, we have 2 non-conference home games, and they're against UTEP and New Mexico. So
Ooh.
the little kid from 1944 Balama Drive in Las Cruces, he's chomping at the bit. I think there's some revenge around the corner for those 2 schools.
Yeah, but just to ask, did this ever? I know it probably did, but when you're younger, did you think you would be where you're at today? Obviously, the jobs, like you said, were created due to the NIL and all this other stuff. But did you ever picture yourself where you're at now?
To be honest with you, Jonah, no. I mean, you know where I grew up. Your grandma lived 2 streets down from mine, and
Yeah,
I didn't know where any of this would lead me. To be honest with you, where I really like to reflect is just the people that have poured into me. Chet Savage, DJ Downs, Paul Weir has been a great resource. He's now the CFO at Abilene Christian, and they allowed me to try different things, marketing. I did the sports writing stuff. I was a PA announcer. I was a women's basketball practice player, and nobody knows this about me. I tell this story to everybody. Brooke Salas, her freshman year, put 50 on my head at the first official practice. And Mark Track, the head coach at the time, literally just kept calling an ISO. And I was fighting for my life trying to defend this 5'11 freshman guard from Placentia, California. And I mean, I could not stop her. And I knew after that practice, I'm like, I should never bounce a basketball again in my life. Thankfully, I can have a little bit of validation in the fact that she is what the second all-time leading scorer at New Mexico State. She's in the Hall of Fame now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, she cooked me up, but she wasn't no scrub either. So it all comes out in the wash. But to answer your question, Jonah, like I've been very fortunate, and this all got started because COVID hit, and I got sent home. Like you remember, NMSU didn't have a football season that fall. Neither did UNM, and I was making 3 times as much money on the federal unemployment program when I interviewed for a minimum wage ticket sales job at Oklahoma. And I didn't think I was going to get the job. And they called me 2 weeks later and they're like, look, we don't know how long we're going to be able to keep you. We don't even know if we're going to be able to get through a football season. But if you're willing to come, we'd love to have you. And you'll answer inbound calls on the main line in the OU Athletics ticket office. And that'll just be what it is. And I went to my abuelita and my parents, and they just thought it was a terrible idea. And I told my mom and dad, I said, if I only get to be an Oklahoma Sooner for 2 weeks or a month, like that'll be something I'll be able to tell my kids about. And so I went to Check and Go, the one over there on Tal Shore. I literally pulled out a loan with an interest rate that was outrageous. I mean, I did not have the money to make the move. I made the move. I packed up the U-Haul. I came here. We got through the football season. I got moved over to the Sooner Club that spring, and then I've been a fundraiser ever since. And it's been just the joy of a lifetime. I feel like Charlie, and I have a golden ticket. And every day that I get to come to work and be an Oklahoma Sooner, and wear this on my chest, it means the world to me.
No,
I did
that's
not know
awesome.
that about any of that. Jonah, did you know that you essentially were uh, just so you were on essentially girls basketball, kind of just a scout team, right? How does that
Yeah,
even happen?
me and Joe Garza were teammates. I mean, he was a lot better than me, and Joe Garza was so damn good that Mark Track would make him practice live reps as a left-handed player, because if he played with his right hand primarily, like he was just too good. Like the girls weren't getting anything out of it. I needed to use my primary hand. I wasn't that
Huh.
good. And I fought the good fight with Kai Williams and Joe Garza. And then I kid you not, after that first official practice, I was like, I'm not doing anybody a bit of good being a traffic cone out here. They got to go get somebody else to come in and try to make these girls better. They ended up winning the WAC that year, but that's when I knew
Hell
my
yeah.
my NBA dreams and my coaching dreams were probably over.
That's when you decided to stick to 2K, and Derek's pretty good at 2K. Was good at
Yeah,
2K.
the sticks against anybody. I've chilled, and Jonah, now that they made the new NCAA football game, that's a little bit more my jam these
Okay.
days. But oh yeah, video games. You can catch me on the sticks anytime.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite gameplay? Is it Glory? Was it Road to Glory? Is it the Dynasty mode? What's your favorite mode in that game?
Yeah, I love Dynasty mode. I'm a builder. I
Okay.
love challenging things. I love long processes that take time, and you can see things get better over time. I'm still the first thing I do, and I've done this since I was 8 years old, is I'll buy the game first Tuesday in July. I'll plug it in, upload it. New Mexico State.
Yeah.
We're gonna get New Mexico State into the SEC. It's gonna take some time, but we're gonna do it. I know how to fundraise, so I'll get the NIL. We'll get the players, and we're gonna let this thing ride. And I like to coach a football team the way Jerry Kill did. We're gonna run the football. We're gonna be tough. We're gonna hit you in the mouth. Jerry Kill football resonates with me, man. What a great guy and great steward of our football program he was. That was an awesome 2 year stretch. I watched from afar, and when New Mexico State beat Auburn, that I couldn't believe it. It was one of the greatest days of my life.
I feel that for sure. I do have another question, Frankie, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
Uh, I know back then we had like discussions, and I don't want to, if you're planning something, I'm sorry, but like of being a athletic director at some point, of managing the whole thing. What does that look like for you now? Is it still something you consider? Because you'd be good anywhere, any school would be lucky to have someone that's passionate like that.
Well, thank you. I think, well, I'm not going to say I think, I know that's the goal. And historically, fundraisers and revenue generation backgrounds were a lot of times the kind of archetypes that would get athletic director roles. In most instances, the game has changed a lot. Our new athletic director, his background is he was a former lawyer, and he has a law background, and you're
Oh
seeing
wow.
mostly at SEC and Big Ten schools, you're seeing guys that have their JD get AD jobs because, I mean, the NCAA is getting sued left and right. There's not a lot of defined rules or guidelines on how to maneuver this landscape. A lot of institutions are looking for people that are able to provide that type of expertise. And but in that same breath, my boss at West Virginia, Ren Baker, his background was revenue generation. He was an illustrious fundraiser over the course of his career, and he's been the AD at West Virginia for a few years now. He's done real well. The goal is to be an athletic director. It's a big dream to have. That's what makes me being at Oklahoma such a great thing is when you're at a place like this where you have people that care and that want to invest, it makes the ability to go out and raise money just all that bit easier. I mean, you can sell ice to an Eskimo, but if people don't care, if people don't want to invest or believe, that's only going to get you so far. So here at Oklahoma, we everything that we do well, we owe it to Sooner Club members, to our season ticket holders, our softball team, man. I mean, they sell out every game, 4,200 fans. They go on the road. They were in Las Cruces a month ago, and I was
Yeah.
getting blown up, and it's just the coolest thing. Oklahoma is such a unique place with the absolute best people. And I know it's been a little touch and go since we've entered the SEC, but I'm telling you, our future is freaking bright. I mean, we're coming.
Yeah, on that note, Jonah was kind of asking, what your future looks like, but I'm really interested, especially for our viewers in Las Cruces, people who are like, man, how do I get into athletics? How do I even figure out where we can make money? I mean, us, what we're doing now is on a small scale on media, but there's a lot of jobs out there that are available. Um, w- Looking back at your kind of your journey, was it a relationship that you had with a coach? You've mentioned so many already. What what would you go back and say? I wouldn't change this. This is where I got the ball rolling. How does someone get the ball rolling?
Yeah, Frank, that's a great question. And where my mind immediately goes back, it's to November 2019, and I was working this odd job in Albuquerque, and I didn't really understand all that it entailed, and I knew it wasn't getting me anywhere, and I was really confused, and I knew I wanted to work in college athletics. The first person I called was Chet Savage, and Chet was like, "Well, what's going on?" I was like, "Well, man, like I want to work in college athletics. I'm just a big believer in it. I love the Aggies and just anything that I can do to be a part of what we're trying to do there. Just tell me and I'll sign up for it right now. Just pay me minimum wage and we'll do it." And he brings me to his office and he's like, "Look, he's like, if you want to be an athletic director, the one thing you need to do above everything else is you need to be able to make money and raise money. We have a minimum wage ticket sales job here. Look at this kind of like boot camp. I'm sending you to boot camp. And then you're going to go and it's going to be hard and you're not going to make any money and you're probably not going to make any money for a long time. But if you really truly care about this and you see yourself doing this long term, this can be the first step up the ladder to everything you are telling me that you want right now." And I said, "All right."
What
And
is a
heck, I
ticket
started.
sales? How does that work? Because I'm thinking that's not behind the counter, is it? Is that a little bit more of like in bulk ticket sales? Just because I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's a good question. It is group sales. That's a part of it.
okay.
Like my first big thing was the Pack the Pan Am thing versus Grand Canyon that year. We ended up selling a ton of tickets, and yeah, I was selling 20 tickets for $100, and I would physically get in my car and go like to the downtown strip and go. I went to Rad, and I went to Little Toad, and I went to Cholitos and Calichi's and Pickwick, and I would be like, look, like my name is Derek Gonzales. I work for the athletic department. Mario and Chet know I'm giving y'all a call or stopping by. We're gonna do the Pack the Pan Am game. Will you guys come? And they were kind enough to invest in that game, and we ended up winning that game. And then we turned our attention to baseball. We knew we had Nick. We knew he was really good. The head coach that year was Mike Kirby. It was his first year, and there was this like plot of dead grass down the first base line over at Presley Askew. And we went one day and we were like, what if we like put some chairs and some plastic
Yeah.
tables, and we call this a party patio, and we can sell 20 tickets for $100, and little kids can have their birthdays here. We'll give them a tour of the locker room. We'll buy the birthday cake. Like, to heck with it. Let's see if we can do it. And Chet was like, you know what? That's not a terrible idea. So I think it's still a thing there. I
It's now
haven't
the
been.
Diamond Club. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So if it's still a thing, that's really cool. You're talking to the father of it, but that was I wouldn't change. I wouldn't trade that time in for the world. It was really hard. I couldn't do it again. I mean, it was hard, and I was making no money. I remember I got that first paycheck, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how long I can survive on this. I mean, it was bad, and I'm grateful to God. I'm so grateful to God, and I've been very blessed since, and a lot of people have believed in me. But to answer the question, revenue generation, anything you can do in NMSU's athletic department, go talk to Joe or Chet. Or I know they have a new cast of characters under the new regime, but I did marketing with Nicole Sack and DJ, and the biggest thing is the best abilities availability. And I remember Mario told me that one time. He was like, dude, you're everywhere. Every game. Like, don't you have friends? Don't you? I'm like, nah, my friends, they'll be out until who knows when. I'll see them when
That's
I
me
see
at
them.
every high school game, just sitting there taking notes.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's beauty in that kind of grind, because anytime you're in a foxhole like that or in a bunker like that, good things happen to people that work hard, and you may not see it in 2 months or 6 months, but I've seen it. If you stick with things, eventually things blow up for you. I believe that tremendously. I should not be where I am. Like, I'll tell anybody that, but I never gave up, and I've always tried to work incredibly hard. And I think about Las Cruces. I think about, you know, my grandma's house and what part of the town that's in, and um, I'm very proud to be from Southern New Mexico, and OU is the furthest west SEC team, and I'm trying to create a pipeline. Like, I want everybody in Las Cruces. If you're not rooting for the Aggies, you're rooting for the Sooners. That's my goal, because it's a special place, and it's done a lot for me and my family. And there'll be a day when I have kids, and like they're going to grow up in the shadow of this football stadium, and that's going to be a lot different than the shadow of the stadium I grew up on, and that's a good thing. So I've been blessed.
Do you have any cool stories? You said you grew up, or at least your grandma was close to where Jonah lived, or what was that like? Do you have any funny stories of you growing up with Jonah?
Well, me and Jonah, man. I mean, you went to Cruces, Jonah, and then Centennial. I spent a lot of time at my grandma's house. I went to Oñate, so my parents lived off of Del Rey, but Las Cruces is just such a special place, and I think about it every day. I wouldn't be who I am, or I wouldn't approach my work the way I do if it wasn't for that community. And I have relationships there that I cherish tremendously. And me and Jonah, the thing, I see Jonah's face, and I just think about us and all the time we spent together in college, and how unglorious it can sometimes be, or how unseen you can sometimes feel. And he and I both, on our own individual paths, but also as a part of a team, the Roundup team, like, we stayed together and we enjoyed each other's company, because at the end of the day, all you have is those moments with people. Like that's all life really is, and you got to try to cherish them, even if they're not the most glamorous of moments. And so much has changed in the last 7 or 8 years, but I think back to how good it was to be able to walk into an office and see you, and you'd worked the Thursday basketball game the night before, and like what an incredible journey that you and I have seen each other be on. And now you're a dad and you got the baby in the background, and I got to send this baby some OU gear. We got to get that going.
That's
But
what I'm
it's
saying.
incredible what
Yeah.
you've done.
No, definitely. Yeah. I got definitely. I've never been one to put in. To be honest, I'm being honest here. Hard work as much as Derek did, and then when I got to the college ranks and started doing the roundup, he was writing stories every day, multiple stories a day. Uh, he was editor in chief, which means he has a lot more tasks on his hand than just writing. Um, and then, I mean, heck, you're one of my references for some past jobs I've had. Some stuff that didn't work out, some of the stuff that did. But you're always one to tell me that hard work, prevails in so many words. And so I always hold that to today, and that's why me and Frankie were always on this grind. I was like, you know what? Um, people believe, people know we love this stuff, so I got to follow the Derek grind and work hard. So I mean, I always tell people close to me too that Frankie helped me get back into this and build it from day one, and Derek too, because Derek's always been kind of one from afar whenever he has time to text me and give me words of encouragement. So appreciate you, Derek. Always do.
Yeah, and the one thing I failed to mention is if there's one person here on earth that I got to thank, it's my abuelita. She was my college roommate. We're two peas in a pod, and the thing about her is my whole childhood she worked two jobs. She worked at Walmart, and then she worked as a school bus attendant. And she ended up quitting Walmart when I was, I think, 12 or 13, but she continued working full time as a bus attendant. And when I moved into her house in college, every day she'd wake up at 4:15 every day, every day, every day. And she was getting into her 80s. And there was one time, I think it was the first time I was able to get into whiskeys. I couldn't get up the next morning and I had class, but I could hear her getting up. And it only took one time for me to have this thought. I wasn't going to go to class. I was going to cut class that day. But I heard my grandma getting up to go to work, and it was a cold morning. My birthday's in November. And she went to work. And I thought to myself, if I can't get my tail out of bed and into class and do my schoolwork and do all these things that I'm doing to the absolute best of my ability, I'm doing my abuelita a huge disservice. And the hardest thing I ever did in my life was leave her house to move here back in July of 2020. She was living by herself. It's not a good part of town. And I was like crying. And I was like, Grandma, like, I don't think I can leave you. Like, you're
Oh,
all I know. Like, you're my best bud. Like, you cook all my food. Like, I don't know what, I might starve without you. I don't think I can do this. And she said, she's like, look, I don't want you to go, but if you're going to go, you better make sure this is worth the heartbreak that you feel in this moment. Make sure whatever it is that you do, all your dreams come true, and make the heartbreak of leaving me in this moment worth it. And that's all I've ever tried to do. And when she came for the LSU game this past November, we won the game. We clinched our playoff spot for the first time in 6 years. And she was in the building for that. I get chills just thinking about it. And she was in the building for that, and I saw her. I just started crying because that was it. That was the story coming full circle with her and I. And without her, I'm literally nothing. If there's something you like about me, I got it from my grandma.
I appreciate you telling that story. There's always someone, right, that either shows you work ethic or just some compassion. So that's neat. Appreciate you sharing that. And I have the same sentiment, similar to my experience. Obviously, not my grandma coming to Norman and going to an OU game, but I've been there. It was in probably around the time you got started. There's 2021, 2022, and Caleb Williams was quarterback, and they beat TCU. And
Yeah.
so it's a great environment. The lights in the fourth quarter when they're like start flickering and all that. And now you have the
Mm-hmm.
Toby Keith song that goes on. Is that every game that the Toby Keith song goes on?
That
Different Toby Keith
Frankie, you're
songs.
touching. This is a really controversial thing amongst Sooner Nation.
Okay.
We still haven't identified a third quarter song. This past year, late in the year, we adopted Many Men by 50 Cent. And
Yeah.
man, and then he came out for
Yeah.
the playoff game. And I mean, the whole place went nuts. We're still trying to find our groove with the third quarter song. There's some places that have it down, like Michigan, Mr. Brightside. Oklahoma State does Friends in Low Places. We're trying to find our groove. I think we're going to really try to find something this year. But before anything else, we gotta win some football games. We have a tough September. We got to go to Ann Arbor, Michigan for the first time in program history, and then 2 weeks later, we got to go to Athens, Georgia, and take on the Dogs. So we're gonna have our hands full. But third quarter song, we gotta figure that thing out.
That's what you guys wanted. You wanted to go in the SEC, play with the big boys. We'll see. I
It's
always
not.
bully. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I always bully and message Surf and Turf Golf down there. The owner Taylor Artman, he grew up in Norman, and he's the one who took me over to the game when they played TCU. But now that they moved over, it's a little bit of struggle there. So I always find an opportunity to tease. I wear the OU stuff all the time, but it's always fun because it's a passionate fan base. So anytime you can throw a little jab, you're going to get a reaction. So it's a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah, well, you look good in that hat, and we'll have to send you all some more swag. But yeah, the SEC, I mean, it is a dog eat dog world, man. And I look at our schedule for 2026. We gotta play a South Carolina team that returns a lot of guys. Lenora Sellers is a really good quarterback. We got to go to Florida in November, and they got a new coach, John Summerall. He was at Tulane. Texas A&M, Missouri. I mean, it's murderer's row. And then you have the non-conference game against Michigan on the road on top of your 9-game SEC. We got to play Texas. They've kind of had our number in recent years. So first things first, we got UTEP week one, and back in I believe it was 2012 or 2013, they played New Mexico State, and I was there at the game. I was at most games. It was before I was in college, and they were like a smash mouth, like line up in the I formation football team, and they just beat the brakes off the Aggies. And I was so mad that I walked all the way home to my parents' house off of Del Rey. I didn't get home until probably like 1 in the morning. It was an 8 mile walk.
What
I
track
was
did you
hot.
take?
I
Did
went
you
down
go up and
Trevis. I went
Oh,
down
be careful,
Trevis,
Derek. That's
and then
a
underneath
dangerous
the
road.
the over the overpass that gets you on Telshore. Then I took Telshore all the way north, got onto Del Rey, walked down Del Rey, and I was home. And it's so funny because my coworkers they like to overcook my grits a little bit. So the joke they make with me is they get New Mexico State and New Mexico confused. So they love the whole UNMSU joke. If the Lobos do something good, they'll text me and be like, "Aren't you proud of your alma mater?" I was like, "Man, that ain't my shade of red, man. We'll see them September 19th in Norman, Oklahoma. I'll tell you that right now. I'm a
at
New
least you get to
Mexico
Uh,
keep
State boy.
you get to
I'm a
keep some
five
of your
seven five
crimson.
kid.
let's go.
What was that?
575, baby.
Uh, I didn't even hear what you said. Would say that again?
No, I mean when it comes to shades of red, I stay away from the cherry stuff. I do crimson.
Yeah.
I do Oklahoma crimson. OU's near and dear to me, but if the Aggies got a rival in front of them, man, I'm typically locked in. So that's where my
Yeah.
heart lies.
That's what I was gonna say. I know Boomer Sooner Nation won't like it because it's not the same crimson, but you can kind of get away with wearing an MSU crimson, some of the stuff you have now around campus, and maybe you'll get somebody to notice, but it's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough, certainly, and it's funny. Like we have a senior administration team, and every time I get in front of the one or two of them that I know real well, I ask them, I'm like, what do we have to do to get New Mexico State to come to Norman in a football game? And I'm hoping New Mexico State's played a lot of SEC schools over the years, but they have not played Oklahoma. They haven't played Oklahoma since '89, and I'm like, man, that would be my Super Bowl, the Super Bowl of my lifetime if New Mexico State came to Norman, because we do this really cool thing pregame where our marching band will go on the field and do their pregame performance, but they'll play the visiting team fight song. And I think about it, I'm like, man, if I was down there on Owen Field and I heard New Mexico State's fight song, that would mean something to me. So maybe one day we'll see how these bye games and these non-conference games look like in the future.
You'd shed a tear for sure.
Yeah, I definitely would.
I shed a tear just knowing that we're playing Oklahoma. I'd be like, dear God, please not,
Yeah.
please keep it under 60. I actually wanted to ask a question about surrounding that on NIL stuff. I think NIL has really kind of taken away those kind of the money games for NMSU, right? We go and we played Auburn and we brought home what, 3 mil, whatever that number was.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of gone away. What are your thoughts, if you have any, on how NMSU should approach NIL, right? We don't have the luxury that you do of running the biggest fundraising initiative in OU, right? Our season tickets went up about $150, right? I'm sure y'all's has gone up a little bit, but we can't multiply or we can't grow as fast as you guys can. What are your thoughts on the NIL for NMSU and how you would approach it? Let's say you are back at NMSU and you're like, hey Derek, we need you to kind of do the same thing you were doing at Oklahoma, which is kind of a tough ask. But what are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I mean, each school is really unique on how they approach NIL. Thankfully, with the new as of July 1, 2025, schools can directly revenue share up to 20.5 million with student athletes with 4% annual escalators through the decade. Here at Oklahoma, we're going to utilize that, and our challenge is looking at what they term above the cap dollars. So there's two types of NIL. There's synthetic NIL, and that's really going away because synthetic was like a lot of the pay for play stuff we were seeing
Mm-hmm.
before we could directly revenue share. And then there's authentic NIL, which is utilizing name, image, and likeness in the way that it was intended: jersey sales, commercials, endorsement deals. And then you have this clearinghouse that gets all these NIL deals from every institution in FBS and Division One, and they use all this different data from professional sports and other entities to determine whether it's really truly fair market value what they're seeing in the NIL deal that's in front of them from a student athlete from a certain school. If I was at New Mexico State, I think the big thing for I mean every school, I mean it's getting businesses involved, and you have to be able to do that and tie businesses into the storytelling on behalf of your department and the student athletes. It's different. Like the economic realities of Oklahoma and southern New Mexico, they're very different. They're very different. What motivates businesses in southern New Mexico is different from what motivates businesses in Oklahoma. At New Mexico State, I think it's probably a lot more of a grassroots approach. I think the bigger focus should probably be how can we grow our season ticket base? How can we get more people simply coming to games? I think that's a big thing. And
Yeah.
then while they're at the games, how can we have something at the game that is for everybody? It can't just be the 60 minutes of football on the field. How are we utilizing our media timeouts? How are we utilizing pregame, halftime, postgame? The the way you can continue to grow and have something for everybody is by looking at a football game through a more holistic lens. Look at it as a Saturday. How can we create an experience for families to come enjoy their Saturday? What is tailgate looking like? Can we have food trucks near the stadium? Can we have food trucks in the stadium? How long are bathroom lines? What are the concessions like? All these different things, like they all go to my head spinning just thinking about it. But NIL's tricky, and I think from a holistic NCAA standpoint, like President Trump's having conversations and Congress is having
Yeah.
conversations. But for me, just being here at Oklahoma, but also having the roots at New Mexico State that I have, and then having spent time at West Virginia, I'm of the opinion that both high major and mid major schools are equally important to the overall ecosystem that makes college athletics what it is. I don't think we want to ever live in a world where we do away with group of five and power five is just doing their own thing. I think we need to try to create a system that allows for them to coexist in a way that allows them both to have success, because we've lost the plot. We talk about NIL, we talk about the portal. College athletics is one of the biggest scholarship producing entities in the country. I think it's number two behind the GI Bill. College
Mm,
athletics produces life changing scholarship opportunities for student athletes. We get so fixated on football and men's basketball. Think about volleyball, think about track and field, baseball, softball. Those sports and those student athletes matter just as much as the football players. And we got to create a system that allows the schools in the SEC and the Big Ten to exist in the same world as schools in Conference USA, the Sun Belt, the American, the Mountain West. I hope it gets there soon. Every day brings its own set of challenges and new questions and answers that we're searching for. But I would love to see a world here soon where the dust can settle and your New Mexico states and your New Mexicos and your UTEPs have a steady, stable place to provide the opportunities that they can have, while also Oklahoma and Texas and Alabama and A&M can do the same. It's going to always be different. It
yeah.
is apples and oranges, the world we live in versus what's going on in other places. But for the overall health of college athletics, I want to see a model be more self-sustainable, maybe just a little bit more equitable across the board.
Yeah, I mean, it'll never go back, right? I mean, and it never necessarily was a level playing field because Oklahoma always had a big program. They always had good fundraising, whether they were giving it to the players or not, right? Where you get into like the
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Bushes and the USC and what they were doing and that kind of stuff. But the reality was is there was already a difference between, a big a Power Five school or Power Four at the time, whatever, than NMSU. But if we could get back to even where they're playing one another and it's entertaining still, because now you get like so many issues about, well, your strength of schedule and all these different things where it's almost a professional sport where you don't, it's not even profitable to go play a team like New Mexico State anymore, right? And so that's where I
Mm-hmm.
would like it to get back to, but it is what it is. It's hard.
Yeah, and unfortunately, well, I won't say unfortunately, the big part of the equation is television deals.
Yep.
It seems like these networks are very involved in what's happening, and their thought process is how can we provide the most entertaining matchups every single week? And that's one of the many questions they ask themselves and they ask these conference commissioners. And, the answer to that question is maybe it's not, New Mexico State versus, you know, Texas or Alabama. It's probably going to be Alabama versus Texas, right? And they want to encourage because that those would draw the eyeballs, and that's what drives these television deals. Because truthfully, like these television deals are one of our biggest revenue producing buckets that we have. We have ticket sales, we have fundraising, and then we have our multimedia rights. Those are our three big buckets. And within the realm of fundraising, like the reason the Sooner Club's so important right now is with ticket sales, there's only so many seats you can sell. With our multimedia rights deal, that number kind of what it is with the SEC. You know what you're getting, and you can kind of budget for that. But with fundraising, it can go as high as we're willing to take it, and that involves having talented fundraisers who can storytell and guide donors, having donors that believe in the vision and the future and the importance of our athletic department for our overall university wide health, but also like our statewide visibility and the health of this economy here in the state of Oklahoma. So, I mean, there's so many different ins and outs regarding the industry right now. And I mean, I love college football, and I know you guys love it too. It's awesome right now. But change is hard. And I'm only 30 and I already don't like change very much. But if you run from it, you're going to be way worse off instead of just embracing it. And I'm trying to learn how to embrace change in my life in many different ways. And that's the approach we have here at Oklahoma. We're going to embrace it. We love change. And this new athletic director of ours, Roger Denny, he's chomping at the bit. He's talking, we want to be competitive not only in our conference but nationally. We want to win championships in every sport, and there's a lot of work to do because our budget, in terms of where we rank amongst our SEC peers, I think there's only two or three sports in our department that are where we like them to be. All the others, we have some work to do. So that's our challenge and our responsibility over the next couple of years is let's get all of our programs, volleyball, wrestling, baseball, men's basketball. That's a big hot topic right now amongst our folks. Let's get them in an even playing field with everybody else in our conference, and then let's see who can take it from there. I like our odds against just about anybody if that's our scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek, taking it back to the old days, do you ever miss writing and stuff like that? I mean, because that's what you were a good writer back then. I'm sure you still are now. I mean, we were always taught that writing deals with a whole bunch of stuff. It's a good skill to have, but do you ever miss journalism writing, to be specific?
I love the question, Jonah. It's funny. Sometimes my coworkers will ask me about that, and I tongue in cheek say, "Well, guys, I did that because it was the only thing that paid. If you did anything for athletics, you were doing it for free. The Roundup threw some money at me. The Sun News threw some money at me, and I'm very appreciative of that. And it kept me around the right people, and it kept me in front of, um, you know, the games that I enjoyed going to. The unique thing about fundraising is it's storytelling, and it's really no different than writing. You're just verbalizing it, and it's hard, like to be able to be quick-witted and to be able to read people, to be able to ask the right questions, get the response, and be able to flip their responses into a story specifically catered for what they're passionate about. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. I Journalism's interesting because I do see the value in providing spotlights, especially in a community like ours. But I think, like, really and truly, I was put on this earth to storytell, and fundraising is just right up. I love sports. I'm passionate about what we're trying to do here and how we try to do it. So I meet with these folks and we'll talk about the all the years they've spent coming to OU football games. And then they'll start talking about their grandkids. And, I can tell by how they're talking, okay, this guy, you could tell he's a little sentimental. So I'll start, painting a picture on how the
Yeah.
next 100 years of Sooner football, they're going to be able to make memories with their grandkids the way they did with their grandparents. But we have a responsibility. The Sooners have always been excellent. And what it takes for us to be excellent going into the future requires all of us doing the absolute most that we can from a resource standpoint to give our department and our programs what they need to go out and recruit and retain the best. And a lot of people are like, you know what? Like, I want the Sooners to be for my grandkids what they were for me. We were winning national championships. We got the Heisman Trophy winners, Blake Griffin, Buddy Hield, Stacey Dales, Lauren Chamberlain, Jocelyn Allo, Cade Cavalli. I mean, every sport we got dudes and women. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's crazy. We roll deep here. But in order to be able to continue to do that into the future, we need people to invest, and we need them to stretch and think in ways in which they probably would have never thought to do. But if we can do that, we can get everyone on board. Nobody can stop Oklahoma. There's no ceiling on Oklahoma.
To your point on painting a picture for the future, appreciate you sharing this with us. I mean, bro, imagine intimacy look like this. I mean, come on. But just it's just lights out. This here is just for the football. The Project Palace, the Palace Project. I mean, dude, this is awesome, and this is the story that you get to tell, right? About
Yep.
OU football, about the future, about just that one seat, maybe just three or four seats of this is where I brought my kids. They got older and now grandkids, right? Uh, you're kind of painting that out now. So this is really neat to look at and to see. You said the west side of the stadium is getting renovated. You mentioned that earlier. Um,
Hmm.
this is just this is dope to look at. This one's my favorite
Yeah,
picture.
it's going to
This
be
top
first
one.
class, Frankie. It's going to be first class, and kind of provides us in a lot of ways a crossroads where we need to enhance our greatest recurring revenue source, which is football. This project is going to allow us to incorporate a lot more club seating options. That's the direction going to a football game is going. People want to be comfortable. They want to turn off their brains and have their experience be turnkey. A lot of what this project entails is going to enhance the game day experience for every Sooner, but also allow us to be able to be financially stable into the future of college athletics. So that's the crossroads: fan
Yeah,
experience and being able to be financially stable into the future, whatever that future looks like. And then, yeah, Kimry Family Stadium, Oklahoma baseball. That this is a sport I'm incredibly passionate about. Skip Johnson is a phenomenal baseball coach. We almost won the national championship in 2022. I hope no one here at work kills me for this, but the analogy I'll sometimes use with folks when I discuss baseball is we're the Oakland A's. We're Moneyball, you know, and despite that, we're incredibly
that is
competitive. Right
risky.
now, we're
I was
ranked
like,
number 8 in the country, and but the reality of it is it's not sustainable. We need to get that stadium what it needs to be able to develop the student athletes the way we need to continue to compete for championships. That guy right there, Skip Johnson, he can do no wrong. He is phenomenal, and his staff, Reggie Willits, they punch above their weight class every single weekend in the SEC, and we're going to do right by them. And I got to give again, all the credit goes to our Sooner Club members, our supporters, our stakeholders. They were able to believe in the vision that we have for the project, and we hope to have that project done in the next couple of years. And you're going to be seeing Oklahoma baseball in Omaha before you know it. We'll be back.
sweet. I'm excited. Yeah, all this is, I mean, incredible. This here's the arena, right, for basketball. Had on the
Yep.
bottom there,
Yep.
gymnastics. Do y'all have? There's a. Does volleyball have a different facility, or do you guys not have volleyball? Yeah.
Awesome question. They actually operate from the McCaslin Fieldhouse. It's a little baby. It's older. It's a lot like it's a much smaller scaled Cameron Indoor Stadium, but it's intimate. And we under Coach Moser, we've actually begun playing a men's basketball game there every November, but it's typically students only. So it's
Mm,
like 4,500 students on top of you for 40 minutes, just getting after it. And we can't play every game there. We have the Lloyd Noble Center, and we've been in there since I believe 1970. But this arena is going to be a game changer. It's going to be very similar to what Baylor did down in Waco. It's going to
mhm.
be 8,000 seats or so, but a lot of club seating options. And the way the design is going to be, like the fans are going to be much closer to the court and to the action, which will then create a louder environment, despite the fact that we're going to be decreasing seats from our current venue by about 3 or 4 thousand.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
No better time
Yeah.
to be an Oklahoma Sooner, man. All that stuff fires me up. It can also stress me out, but it fires me up because we're gonna have the most cranes per capita in any place in the country with all these projects. The Oklahoma City Thunder getting a new arena. We're gonna have that. Oklahoma City is in talks to potentially get the country's tallest skyscraper. You're not going to find a single person more passionate about the state of Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma, and just everything that this community is trying to do to be the absolute best that it can be. I'm blessed beyond measure to be a part of the community, to be a Sooner, and I mean, it fires me up, man. It's awesome.
This is the last question for me, Derek, and then I will let you go. And I know you're got your busy stuff going on and whatnot, but what's it like? I know you kind of talked about it with your grandma, kind of visiting your guys' facilities, but what's it like when you bring people from here, hometown, and you get to see them kind of first time see what it's like to see an actual big school, like we don't see that stuff. And seeing that on the
Yeah.
computer, I'm like, yeah, I'd probably cry too.
Yeah. Jonah, I love how you're finishing with like the most sentimental, emotional question.
I'm sorry. I'm
Um,
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
no, no, it's awesome. And I think about my friends, my family. You're right. Like we don't have this type of deal back home. And I think about my best buddy Ryan. He went to the Rose Bowl in 2016 when we were in college, 2017 or whenever it was, the Baker year we lost to Georgia. And his dog's name is Baker. And we this was years before I could have ever came here. We ever could have known. And to bring Ryan here and he's looking at Baker's Heisman trophy statue and the trophy itself, and then he comes to the game and I think about my grandma who I mean, she sat there through every New Mexico State football game until I was old enough to drive myself to them. And there were some games, man, where I don't know if there was 4,000 people in that stadium. I mean, there were some really lean years, and
4,000
my
might be
grandma
generous.
just yeah, and my grandma never complained. She was, I mean, she would use, I kid you not, would use spare change to buy me a ticket to get into the game. And to be here now, I feel a responsibility to maximize the opportunity just because I know there's not a lot of people that come from where I come from that ever even have a chance at this. And I'm very proud to be here. I'm very proud to be from Las Cruces and to be here. And I hope, if there are kids that love sports back home and they don't know what they want to do or how they can go about it, they can see this curly haired dude fighting the good fight at Oklahoma and anywhere that I go. I mean, from the prairie of Oklahoma to the hills of West Virginia, I am proud to be from Doñana County. And I hope there's much more in store for me professionally. And I'll never hesitate to talk about my roots because without them, I'm nothing. And without the people, Jonah, you're a part of that, man. I'm nothing, and I'm very blessed. And anytime y'all want to come to a game, you let me know. And you can ask my friends. You pay for nothing. Just get here, and the whole weekend I got you. Come to Sooner football game. It's the most special experience in the world.
I would give
Don't tell me that,
anything.
Derek.
Yeah, he'll take you up on it, and I will too. I text my buddy all the time, and I'm like, bro, I just want to go back. My favorite thing is, and there was no college game day either, but it felt like college game day was there. Just walking around before the football game, the strip of bars that you guys have, just walking towards the. Oh my, just God,
It's right here. It's right behind me.
just bottle that up and just give that to me nonstop. It's I do want to experience it again. I mean, TCU, I know a few years later they were pretty good, but they weren't that great. I could just imagine what an atmosphere would look like. I lived in Dallas, so I was there for the Red River game. I didn't go in,
Yeah,
but I went to the state fair and all the shenanigans that were going on. But nothing beats a Saturday game day at Norman. I can't tell you what bars I was at because I was just, I mean, it was not good. It was not good as far as the state of mind I was in, but it's just a blast. You get into the game and it's awesome. So I'm so happy you gave us time to talk with us. We're trying to grow something where, you know what? Las Cruces does get some of these cool things, and so I'm sure
yeah.
media is a big part of that. And so
Mm-hmm.
one day we can have a game day feel like that, but we're far away from what Norman has. So it sounds like that you're blessed to be there. So looking forward to going and checking you all out and getting that experience with you as well.
Yeah, no, and I mean it. Open invite whenever y'all want to come. It's gone up a couple notches since we moved to the SEC. I mean, it's
Yeah.
nuts. Game days here. I was here in the Big 12 and I was here for that TCU game. I remember it very well. It's different now, and this city's growing. I'm blessed, and I mean, again, I appreciate y'all taking the time to do this, and I hope some kids somewhere back home they hear this and they're like, maybe I should shoot them an email or I want to help kids back home. My cousins they start to text me. They're getting into middle school and high school. I want to help because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know when I was 16, 17, 18. that if someone in a position like mine would have just taken the time to have a phone call with me, I would have just saved myself some grief. And sports, people love sports. And I know there's kids back home that they don't know what fundraising is or how any of this stuff works. And I want to help those kids be able to go into the Fulton Center and work for the athletic department in New Mexico State, and then I can help them get to wherever it is they want to go. It's important to me. I want to be able to help.
Yeah, hopefully they do,
That's
and
awesome.
we're kind of doing the same thing with, you know, uh, getting people that want to do a podcast similar to this. We have this one, we have A Mountain Echo, and then Jonah doing stuff with NM Prep Co. Getting folks, whether they're at the university or in whatever program there might be in, to do journalism too, right? Because there's so much that we're doing now that's like we're wearing so many hats, and we could do a
Mm-hmm.
lot better if we kind of divided and conquered, where hopefully, even if the step is they see, oh, I watched Derek's podcast, I wonder what we can do. Even if it's like, hey man, hit up Frankie and Jonah, see if they can get you busy, and start there, because there is a lot that we can do in this in sports. And it took me going to Norman and looking around, being like, this is awesome. And there's just so many jobs that are happening at the same time, where you go to a Cruces game or NMSU, and you're like, well, there's people in the stands and there's just not much going on. The the entire economy is interwoven into OU sports, and it's just not like that yet for NMSU. Hopefully, you can get there, but yeah, no, there's a lot, man. So I can just imagine what your perspective is on a lot of those things. We can probably talk forever, but yeah, I appreciate the time that you've given us. Cool. Anything we missed? Any questions that you were hoping we'd ask? Anything you want to let us know before we let you go?
No, I think we covered it all, and thank you all for letting me talk y'all ear off for close to an hour, and just appreciative of the platform y'all are providing. And like I said, I hope it impacts somebody out there. And then anything y'all need in the future, both of y'all, call, text.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate that, Derek.
Thanks for joining, guys.